The flickering light from the kerosene lamp cast shadows across her face as she stared at the man slumped against her porch railing. Emily Harper, 46 and widowed for 4 long years, felt a spark she thought had been buried with her husband. The stranger was bleeding from a knife wound on his side, his denim shirt soaked through, dust from the Texas plains still clinging to his boots. "Ma'am, please," he rasped, his voice like worn leather. "My truck broke down a mile back. Just need a place to wait out the storm." She should have turned him away, a woman alone on a remote ranch, miles from the nearest neighbor. But those hazel eyes held something raw, something that mirrored her own emptiness. What happens when a forgotten heart meets a drifter's haunted past? Buckle up, because in 48 hours, secrets will unravel, desires will ignite, and lives will shatter forever. Emily's hands trembled as she boiled water on the old gas stove, not from the chill of the approaching thunderstorm, but from him. The way he filled her modest kitchen like he'd always been there, his broad frame easing into the chair with a wince. "Shirt off," she said, avoiding his gaze. "That cut needs tending." Luke Dawson hesitated, then peeled off the blood-stained fabric. Emily's breath hitched. His torso was etched with scars, old gunshot marks, jagged lines from bar fights, the badges of a life on the edge. But it was his eyes that pulled her in, warm and piercing, making her feel seen for the first time since losing her husband to a heart attack out in the fields. "You out here by yourself?" he asked as she swabbed the wound with antiseptic. "For years now." Her touch was steady, honed from years of patching up ranch hands, but this was different, charged, like static before lightning. "My husband, Tom, passed suddenly. Left me with the land and the memories. I'm sorry. Family." Luke's jaw clenched. "None left that wants me." She wrapped the bandage in silence, hyper-aware of his steady breathing, the heat from his skin brushing hers. When she pulled back, their eyes locked, and a silent understanding passed between them, two souls adrift in the vast Texas emptiness. "I've got some chili warming," she said abruptly. "Not fancy, but it'll do." They ate at the scarred oak table as thunder rumbled outside, the wind whipping dust against the windows. Emily watched him, noting his deliberate movements, the constant scan of the room, a man accustomed to threats. "What brings you through these parts in weather like this?" she asked. Luke paused, fork midway to his mouth. "Looking for someone, an old buddy from the oil fields." He studied her. "You ever hear of a Cody Harper?" Emily's spoon clattered against the bowl, her face paling. "What did you say?" "Cody Harper. About 28, sandy hair, eyes like yours. We rigged together in Oklahoma for over a year." "Cody," the name escaped as a whisper. "That's my son. He left 3 years ago, chasing black gold. Haven't heard a word since." Luke froze. "Your son." Tears welled in Emily's eyes. "Is he alive? Last I saw you. But we split during a rough patch. Guys with grudges showed up. I barely made it out." Emily sobbed, relief and terror mixing. Without thinking, Luke reached across, his calloused hand covering hers. It was rough, but comforting in a way she hadn't felt in ages. "I'll track him down," Luke promised. "That's why I'm headed north to square things and bring him back if I can." Emily looked at this stranger who'd known her boy, who'd faced danger with him, and something deep inside her stirred not just gratitude, but a forbidden pull she couldn't name. The barn was too far in the gathering storm, so she offered the couch by the fireplace. Luke nodded, words failing him. He'd been dodging shadows for years, outrunning debts and enemies from his wild youth. But here, in this cozy ranch house with this resilient woman, he felt a rare calm. Up at her bedroom, Emily paced, hearing him settle below. She wondered what kind of woman entertained thoughts about a man young enough to be her son's friend. Downstairs, Luke stared at the ceiling, grappling with the same turmoil, the magnetic draw to Cody's mother, the one person who made him question his lone wolf life. Emily rose at dawn, the storm still raging with sheets of rain pounding the roof. She found Luke by the embers, dressed, and brooding. "Coffee," she offered. In the dim light, she took in his profile rugged features that promised stories untold. "Tell me about Cody," she urged. Luke's expression softened. "He bragged about you nonstop. Said his mom was the toughest rancher in Texas, holding this place together alone. Wanted to strike it rich and come back to ease your load. Stubborn kid," she said with a faint smile. "He doesn't need to baby me. I just want him home." Luke hesitated. "He's ashamed. That's why he hasn't reached out. Our rig dried up and trouble hit. He thinks he let you down." Emily's hand covered her mouth. "Oh, Cody." Their gazes met, the air thick with unspoken parallels. Cody was her gentle boy, full of dreams. Luke was forged in fire, a survivor with edges that both scared and intrigued her. "Why are you really searching for him?" she pressed. Luke's face hardened. "Because it's on me. My old mistakes caught up bad deals from my past." Cody got pulled in. "What kind of past?" "The kind that leaves bodies behind." Emily poured coffee, their fingers grazing, sending a jolt through her. "You're in trouble now." "Always am." "Then why stop here?" Luke met her stare. "Cody made me promise if anything went south, tell his mom he loved her. And I had to see the woman who raised a guy like him." The words hung heavy. Emily flushed, her heart racing. This was insane. He was her son's age, a drifter with danger trailing him. "Let me check that bandage," she murmured. Luke unbuttoned his shirt, revealing that scarred chest again. The wound was mending, but she lingered, her hands on his skin. "Emily," he whispered, "we shouldn't." But she didn't pull away. His hands cupped her face, and she leaned in, their lips meeting in a tentative kiss that exploded into urgency. Years of isolation fueled ether soft curves against his hard frame, hands exploring, breaths mingling. When they parted, gasping, the storm outside mirrored the one within. "This is madness," she breathed. "Madness," he echoed, but his arms stayed around her. The rain intensified, trapping them another day. Tension built like a pressure cooker, stolen touches while chopping wood, lingering stares over lunch, conversations veering into forbidden territory. By afternoon, Emily slipped into a sundress that hugged her figure, drawing Luke's hungry gaze. She was no fragile flower. She'd wrangled cattle, fixed fences, survived loss. That strength drew him like a moth to flame. They shared a bottle of bourbon she'd stashed away, the liquor loosening barriers. "Tell me about Tom," Luke said. Emily's eyes misted. "He was reliable, kind. Nothing like you." "Bad thing?" "I don't know." Luke traced her hand. "Ever wonder about a different life? One with adventure, fire, the kind that burns everything down? Maybe. Or lights it up." They inched closer, the bourbon's warmth amplifying desire. "What about you?" she asked. "Ever settle down?" "Once. She left when my troubles caught up." Emily faced him squarely. "You think you're ruining me?" "Aren't I?" "Luke Dawson, I've been numb for years. If this is ruin, I welcome it." His restraint shattered. He pulled her close, the kiss fierce, hands roaming with pent-up need. He lifted her to the bedroom, and what followed was a whirlwind, tender caresses giving way to raw passion, bodies entwining in the dim light. They whispered secrets, lost in ecstasy, knowing dawn would end it. Exhausted, they lay together. "We're damned for this," Emily murmured. "Cody would hate us. So why doesn't it stop me?" Luke held her tighter. "Because feeling alive beats being right." They came together again, slower, savoring every moment as thunder crashed. In the pre-dawn hush, Emily woke to Luke dressing. The storm had passed. "I have to go," he said, voice thick. She nodded, tears stinging. "Find Cody. Bring him home. If I can." He sat beside her, brushing her cheek. "Emily, I don't promise. Just go." Luke Dawson drove off as the sun rose over the plains, Emily watching from the window until his truck vanished in the dust. For months later, a letter arrived from a sheriff in Tulsa. Cody Harper had died in a rig explosion. Enclosed was a pouch of cash from oil shares and a note in familiar scrawl. "Emily, he spoke of you to the end. Said he was sorry for not coming home. This was his cut enough to secure your future. He loved you. So did I. Emily clutched the letter, weeping for her son, the lost dreams, the fleeting joy. But she didn't regret that night. With Cody's money, she sold part of the ranch, moved to a cozy home in Austin, surrounded by life. She never remarried, but she thrived, cherishing the memory of hazel eyes and bourbon kisses. On quiet evenings, she'd recall Luke, wondering if he still roamed, evading his demons. That one storm had rekindled her spirit, proving it's never too late to embrace the fire, even if it scorches. What do you think? Would you have given into that forbidden spark like Emily, or turned Luke away? Share your stance in the comments below, and let's debate. Is passion worth the moral cost? Your thoughts could spark the next big discussion.